Isang mapayapang hapon, Pilipinas. Ito po ang inyong balerina ng bayan, si Lisa Macuja, na bumabati sa lahat ng nakikinig sa DZRH at sa lahat ng nanonood sa RH TV, lalo na sa mga kasamahan nating alagad ng sining at kultura sa buong bansa. Una sa lahat, nais naming magpasalamat sa lahat ng dumalo kagabi sa pagbubukas ng aming ikalawang handog para sa 22nd performance season ng Ballet Manila, ang Immortal Classic na Swan Lake. Para sa mga gusto pang humabol at manood, meron pa kaming shows sa susunod na linggo at 6 p.m. on Saturday, October 14 at 3 p.m. on Sunday, October 15. Tickets are available at Ticket World Manila outlets or online at www.ticketworld.com.ph o tumawag lamang sa 891-9999. Huwag po ninyong palalampasin ang full-length production ng Swan Lake. Handog sa inyo ng Ballet Manila on its 22nd performance season, Flights of Fantasy. Samantala, sa hapong ito, bilang pakikiisa sa pagdiriwang ng Museums and Galleries Month ngayong buwan ng Oktubre, sisilipin natin ang mga magagandang pagbabago na nangyayari sa ating pambansang museo ng Pilipinas, kasama ang National Museum Chairman na si Ginoong Ramon del Rosario Jr. Kaya't huwag kayong aalis, magbabalik ang Art2art matapos ang ilang paalala.
Ang Pambansang Museo ng Pilipinas, na kilala sa taguring National Museum, ay isang institusyon sa pangangalaga ng pamahalaan na inatasang mangalaga sa ating mga pamanang lahi ng ating kasaysayan sa iba't ibang sangay ng sining at kultura, edukasyon at agham. Mandato nito ang tipunin, itala, pag-ingatan at itanghal ang mga pamanang ito upang makita ng madla at mapag-aralan ng mga eksperto. Naatasan din ang pamantasang museo na magtayo at mga siwa ng mga museo sa iba't ibang rehiyon sa Pilipinas. Sa kasalukuyan, pinamamahalaan nito ang National Museum Complex at National Planetarium sa Maynila at halos 20 regional branch at site museums na nakapangalat sa buong bansa. Bukod pa dito, ang National Museum ay nagsisilbi rin bilang regulatory and enforcement agency sa ilalim ng pamahalaan, partikular na sa pagpapatupad ng mga batas na pangkultura. Ito rin ang nangangalaga ng iba't ibang culturally significant properties, sites, and reservations sa iba't ibang dako ng ating archipelago. Ito din ang lead agency sa pagdiriwang ng Museums and Galleries Month na ginaganap tuwing buwan ng Oktubre kada taon. Isang mainit na pagbati ang hatid ng Art2art sa Chairman of the Board of Trustees ng National Museum of the Philippines, si Ginoong Ramon del Rosario Jr.
Magandang hapon, Mr. Del Rosario, and welcome to Art2art.
Magandang hapon po. Very nice to be here.
Katulad po na nabanggit natin kanina sa intro, nakikiisa of course kami sa aming programa sa inyo sa pagdiriwang ng Museums and Galleries Month sa buwang ito. So October is Museums and Galleries Month. And of course, thank you for making time for our program.
My pleasure po. It's my pleasure. Always ready to talk about the National Museum.
Mr. Del Rosario, actually mas kilala kayo syempre bilang matagumpay na negosyante. Subalit matagal na rin kayong tumutulong sa iba't ibang arts and culture organizations. Saan po nagmula ang inyong interes sa sining at kultura?
Mahirap masabi. Naimbitahan ako to participate and to help. I think they thought of me more as a fundraiser,
which is the
than somebody who really understands the arts.
Yes.
Naintindihan ko naman, okay lang sa akin yun, if that's the role that they assign for me and that's how they see
But
me.
I'm sure you have a genuine love for the arts.
Of course I do, and that's why I accepted. As you may know, nagkaroon rin ako ng opportunity to help PETA, the Educational Theater Association. And there also, my work was mainly fundraising. Pero dito sa National Museum, nag-umpisa ang aking involvement noong 1997 as part of the centennial celebrations for 1998.
I see.
President Ramos created something he called the Presidential Committee to Assist the National Museum.
Okay.
And I think they thought of me because one of the buildings that they were designating to make part of the National Museum was the old Department of Finance building. And I was the first Secretary of Finance under President Ramos, although I did not stay in the cabinet very long. When they formed this committee, ako ang naimbitahan nilang maging co-chair kasama ni then DTI Secretary Roy Navarro. So, ganun ang nangyari. And again, my role was to raise money from the private sector as a counterpart for the government funds that they were going to put up. Pero ang target namin is by the time of the centennial, which was June 12, 1998, we had to have the conversion of the Department of Finance building completed as a museum. And that was quite a challenge, and that was successfully done. And so we were very pleased with the results of that. We hired consultants and we hired well-known architects, and it was completed, and it became what was called the Museum of the Filipino People. And it is now called the Museum of Anthropology, and it's still there. And one of the main exhibits there, which is still there now, is the remains of the galleon, San Diego, the San Diego galleon. So ganun ho. And one thing led to another. But after that involvement naman, I kind of faded away from the museum. I was not involved for many, many years.
Oh, okay.
For many years. It was not a continuing thing.
So hindi continuous ang inyong serbisyo.
Tapos nung naging presidente si President Noynoy Aquino, one day I read in the newspaper that he appointed me as chairman of the National Museum.
Nabasa ninyo sa dyaryo.
Nabasa ko na lang sa dyaryo. Siguro may nagbulong sa kanya na okay lang ito, etc. And I welcomed it because I do think that it is important to have a world-class national museum. So yun ho. I accepted the appointment, and there were other people naman whom I respect very much who were also part of the board. So I knew that together with the board we could work. And then I was assured that the administration was going to give a lot of budgetary support for the National Museum. So ganon. So I was involved from 2011 until today po, hindi pa ako tinatanggal nitong administration na ito. Kasi wala akong term. We submitted at least for the chairman, and we submitted our courtesy resignations right at the start of the term of this president. And we've been on holdover capacity since then. Pero ang ginawa po namin, tinatapos namin yung isa naming major project kasi meron kaming major project sa National Museum, which was the Museum of Natural History.
Yes.
Ngayon October, halos patapos na talaga.
Kami.
Well, actually, nag-ceremonial inauguration na kami noong September 30, pero hindi pa fully open kasi yung exhibits, hindi pa buo-buo. Pero malapit na po magiging fully open. Actually, partially open na yung Museum of Natural History. Napakaganda po niyan because, you know, throughout the world, the Museum of Natural History usually is the most popular of the museums because whole families like to see syempre the life of animals and birds,
yung
and
mga
fish.
dinosaur.
In our case wala tayong dinosaur, but our star exhibit is Lolong.
Si Lolong.
Nung buhay pa si Lolong, siya yung pinakamalaking buhaya sa buong mundo na buhay. He is about 7 meters long and really quite a spectacular crocodile. And we're exhibiting him in two ways. One is the stuffed with the skin, but the other one is his skeleton para naman makita rin ng mga tao yung ano. But naku, napakadami pong exhibits dyan sa Museum of Natural History pag natapos yan. Meron kaming galleries where we will show the richness of the Philippines in terms of our things like the Tubataha Reef and the underground river, which not everybody can visit. So we've put together the best film available and we're showing it in galleries there. So ang hope namin is mabisita ng maraming tao itong museum na ito so that they become naman more proud of what we have as a country.
Of course.
And to be Filipinos, because you know, the Philippines has the richest biodiversity. Ang ibig sabihin nun, marami tayong iba-ibang animals, birds, fish, species, and plants as compared to other countries. We're blessed with that, but not too many of us know about it. So this museum will hopefully show our people that. It's really an educational museum as much as a cultural exhibit.
Yes.
So that's the hope. It will create more pride in being a Filipino.
And you know, recently sa aming programa, in-announce nga na libre ang pagpasok sa National
nako,
Museum. So is that true also for the Museum of Natural History?
It is true also po.
So libre
pangatlo na
ang
yun.
lahat ng pagpasok.
Actually, pang-apat na yan. First was what we now call the Fine Arts Museum, which is where the Spoliarium is, the old Congress building. And then the first building I spoke of earlier, yung Museum of Anthropology, is still there. Now this will be the third museum building, Museum of Natural History. Pero yung nung National Planetarium, nasa National Museum rin yan, libre rin ho yun.
Yung planetarium sa Rizal Park? So yung sa likod ng amphitheater sa Rizal Park?
Nandun.
Kasama din yun sa National Museum?
Under the administration rin of the National Museum.
And libre din yun?
Libre rin ho. And since we adopted the policy of free entry, ang increase in people coming to the museum has been very heartwarming, very spectacular. I think about 30% already, even without this new Natural History Museum. 30% per year is the increase in the attendance. It is really quite amazing po.
Paano po ito nagiging posible na you make it work na libre? Hindi ba naapektuhan
First of all, alam ho ninyo, throughout the world, ang mga museum, hindi ho pwede mag-survive based on entrance fees lang. Kailangan ho talaga may tulong, either from government or from corporate patrons. In our case, we are fortunate na talagang malakas ang suporta ng gobyerno. At least during the Aquino administration and continuing with the Duterte administration, napakalakas po ng suporta through budget support. We used to collect small entrance fees, like 100 pesos. Pero pag estudyante ka, 50% off. Pag senior citizen, 20% off. We calculated how much we were collecting from entrance fees. And on the other hand, we calculated ano bang cost of printing tickets, hiring the cashiers who will account for the entrance fees, the accountants who will watch this, and the people there at the turnstile accepting this. When you valued how much it was costing us to administer this and how much we were collecting, mas malaki pa yung cost of collecting the entrance fees. So we said to ourselves, medyo logical siguro. Plus the fact na napansin namin na pag libre ang entrance sa museum, dumadami talaga ang dumadating. So putting the two facts together, the board said, why don't we just drop the idea of charging fees? And so since then, which was only since July only of 2017, we've had a tremendous increase in people coming to the museum. So we think that it's a good policy, and if we can sustain it, depending really on the support. Depende talaga sa suporta ng gobyerno looking forward.
Ito po ba yung pinaka-greatest challenge? It's raising funds to support the many
especially pag merong bagong, especially pag may bagong project. For example, itong Natural History Museum, it's not a joke because you use an old building which was not designed to be a museum and it's very old already, and you convert that to a national museum. First, you have to check the structure po to make sure that it can withstand the crowds who will be coming. And that revealed to us na ang daming trabahong kailangan gawin. And then we decided to make it really unusual to partner with the private sector in constructing a dome in the middle. Kasi ang structure niya parang triangle pero empty yung loob, like the other building. We decided to cover that with a dome and create what we call the Tree of Life structure, which is really consistent anyway with the Natural History Museum. Tapos may scenic elevator sa gitna nung Tree of Life na yun. That cost a lot of money. So ang ginawa namin, yung renovation of the building was the government's project. Pero yung Tree of Life at saka yung scenic elevator and the specialized contractors for that, ginawa naming project ng private sector yun. So that's where I collected a lot of funds from the private sector. The private sector donated about 600 million pesos po for that part of the project. But the national government spent 1.6 billion. So it's a 2.2 billion peso project po. Ha?
Wow.
But it's a great partnership and ganon. So it took a while for the private sector to respond. Mahirap po, parang naglilimos ako kung saan ako pumupunta. Nagpe-present ako sa mga board.
Yes.
Pero hindi bali na. I mean, it's a good cause. And fortunately, enough corporations responded. And I think people will be very pleased to see this museum when they come and visit it, when it is fully open. Because it is something we can really be proud of. Talaga nakakagulat when you enter and you see this dome and this tree of life. Napakaganda po. So yes, it's always a challenge, lalo na when you have a new project like that. Pero kung ongoing operations lang, depende on the support nga of the national government. We really have to depend. And I hope that the government will continue, the different administrations through the years, will continue to see the National Museum as really something that is worth supporting. As part of the educational process. We are under the Department of Education, by the way,
Yes.
which is a good synergistic relationship because it's really part of the education not only of children but of grown-ups to learn
Yes.
to be proud, to be Filipino. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. But there is so much to know about our country that one can learn by visiting the National Museum po. So, gano'n.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay. Marami pa po tayong pag-uusapan tungkol sa Pambansang Museo ng Pilipinas kasama ang National Museum Chairman na si Mr. Ramon Del Rosario Jr. Dito pa rin sa Art2art, magbabalik po kami pagkatapos ng ilang paalala.
Programang hatid ay sining at kulturang para sa lahat. Magbabalik ang Art2art. Schedule ng mga inaabangang konsyerto. Update sa mga magagandang panoorin sa mga tanghalan at teatro. Narito na ang Art2art Calendar.
Narito ang ating arts calendar sa sining biswal, kabilang sa pagdiriwang ng centennial ni National Artist for Music Jose Maceda ang contemporary art exhibition na pinamagatang Attitude of the Mind sa Bulwagang Juan Luna ng Cultural Center of the Philippines. Nagbukas ito nitong September 26 kung kailan itinanghal ding muli ang 1971 breakthrough piece ni Maceda na Cassettes 100. Si Maceda ay isang composer, artist, scholar, philosopher at pedagogue. Makikita ang Attitude of the Mind hanggang December 3. Para sa kadagdagang detalye, tumawag 832-3702, mag-email ccp.exhibits@gmail.com or bumisita sa website culturalcenter.gov.ph. Samantala, itatanghal naman ng 1335 Mabini ang inaugural exhibition nito kung saan tampok ang solo presentation ni Poklong Anading. Magbubukas October 14 mula alas 4 ng hapon hanggang alas 9 ng gabi sa bagong exhibition space na matatagpuan sa Caribbean Plaza, 2316 Chino Roses Avenue Extension, Makati City. Pinamagatang Household. Ang exhibit ay nagtatampok sa pinakakilalang subject matter ni Anading, ang basahan o cleaning rag na naging bahagi na ng kanyang patuloy na artistic research mula 2006. Makikita ang exhibit hanggang November 25. Sa teatro, bilang pagdiriwang ng kanilang 50th anniversary, inihahandog ng Rizal Library ang Batang Rizal ng Ateneo Entablado. Ang dula ay tungkol sa Batang Jose Rizal na nagtapos mula sa paaralang ngayon ay kilala bilang Ateneo de Manila University, 140 taon na ang nakalipas. Ang dula na sinulat ni Christine Belen at nasa direksyon ni Jerry Respeto ay magkakaroon ng palabas mula October 10 hanggang October 28 sa Rizal Mini Theater ng Ateneo de Manila University. Para sa kompletong detalye at ticket reservation, mag-email admu.entablado@gmail.com.
Usapang sining at kultura para sa lahat. Kasama ang balerina ng bayan, si Lisa Macuja. Art2art.
Kasama pa rin natin ang chairman ng National Museum of the Philippines na si Ginoong Ramon Del Rosario Jr. Mr. Del Rosario, nabanggit ninyo kanina na you are under the Department of Education. Pero apektado din ba ang National Museum sa moratorium ban on school field trips na nangyari?
Yes, naapektuhan kami nun. Nabawasan, syempre, yung mga students because students siguro make up about 50% really of the people who go to the museum. While students still came in as separate batches on their own, malaking effect nung suspension. But I think gradually it's being restored already. I think they've allowed, and I think but in spite of that,
So there is hope po?
there is not just hope. There is reason to be confident. There is reason to be confident.
Nahirapan din kami, Ballet Manila, for our school matinees.
You know,
Like yung recent production po namin ng Ibong Adarna, na ang target na market po namin ay
ganun rin ho.
ang schools.
Yes.
Talagang naapektuhan.
Yes, naapektuhan ho. Pero in spite of that nga, those statistics that I cited earlier about the increase in attendance was in spite of that. So, ang galing.
Libre kayo eh.
Yes, because of this great support from the government. Yes, that's really a challenge for cultural organizations. Even fundraising for culture is very difficult. It's really among the lowest of the priorities. Siyempre,
Bakit po ganoon?
hindi ko alam. Siguro hindi naiintindihan ang importansya ng culture by many people. Well, kasi marami tayong kailangan eh. Education is very popular and disasters. Pag you try to raise funds for a big disaster, the response is very, very quick. And also education. Health, I think, is the next one. But education and disasters are the biggest. Culture, I am sad to say, and I know because we've experienced this, is kind of low down. So you've got to tell a great story. That's why we had to talk about this tree of life, and we had to show pictures and everything, and we had to offer them naming rights for some galleries and things like that. Those are the things that we needed to put together as a package para namang maging appealing yung aming proposal sa mga corporations. But even then, while a good number said yes, a good number also ignored us or never responded. Even after I went out of my way to make personal presentations, and they all said they will get back to me. Many of them also did not come back to me. It reached a point where I would go to cocktail parties and people would avoid me because because they would think I was following up on their donation. So it's not an easy job. Yeah, you've really been.
True. I sympathize po. Okay. But people not only donate in terms of money, but also in terms of noteworthy collections of art. These are like donated or loaned.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And they do both.
And what's the difference?
You know, since the National Museum for Fine Arts got upgraded and people came and saw how beautiful a museum has become, and I say that without shame because it's true. People have been coming to the National Museum saying, we've got this priceless piece of art that we've had in our family. It's in the dining room of the matriarch, and she's getting old, and she wants to know what to do with it. And stories like that keep recurring now, and they have been donating to the National Museum, either donating outright or long-term loan. And we don't really mind one way or the other as far as the National Museum is concerned, because the important thing is to have it so that it can be shown to people. You know that even the vast collection of the Central Bank of the Philippines, napakatagal, nasa storage lang ang malaking portion ng collection nila because they don't have enough walls in the central bank to show all of their art pieces. Through negotiations with the previous central bank governor and with the support of the current central bank governor, na-convince ho namin sila na ipakita sa ipahiram on a long-term basis sa National Museum. So we've got two or three galleries now showing beautiful art pieces from the central bank collection.
Okay.
Ganun rin ho ang nangyari sa GSIS. Naalala ninyo, merong art collection ng GSIS. In fact, one Luna painting there was particularly controversial because they paid a huge amount of money for it. Nandun ngayon sa National Museum because subsequent boards of the GSIS said, we have no business running an art museum, so why don't we turn it over to the... And then there are private people also who have been doing it. Galing. We acquired on a long-term loan also. You remember the Manansala, huge paintings in the lobby of the old Film Life Auditorium.
Yes,
at Upper Park. Now that that's going to become an SM project, Film Life also turned over those Manansala
Oh, that's
paintings to
amazing.
us.
It's fantastic.
There was also a beautiful series of Botong, huge paintings about the history of medicine in the old PGH, in the PGH lobby. And it was deteriorating because it was accessible to people and they were touching it. Yun, we offered to restore it. And then when it was restored, we suggested to the PGH, kung pwede, we will make reproductions for their lobby. Beautiful first-class reproductions done by Benji Toda. And they agreed. So now they have reproductions and they loan to us the originals. The originals are in the National Museum. The reproductions, by the way, look even better than the originals because the colors are brighter and Benji Torre does a great job with his photographs of those things. So those kinds of arrangements and families, as I said earlier, are doing the same thing.
Okay.
So yes, donations come because we don't have a budget for collections. We really...
For acquisition, you mean?
No, we don't. We
wala.
don't. We don't.
Okay.
Except if there are finds of major archaeological finds, they belong to us. I mean, when somebody finds old pieces of pottery or even skeletons, etc., which are of value, it really belongs to the National Museum by law. So those we don't have to acquire. But art pieces and things like that, we don't. Right now, we don't have a budget for that.
See.
So we
In the
really-
vast collection of cultural objects and works of art sa National Museum, meron po ba kayong mga personal favorites?
Well, siyempre, the most spectacular is the Spoliarium. And for those who have not seen it, once you enter that gallery, which is really dedicated basically to the Spoliarium, it's awesome.
Yes,
and it's
it is
really
awesome,
worth
yeah.
it's really worth visiting. And then you say to yourself, my God, this is really world class. And it was done, you know, in the late 1800s. Wow. And Juan Luna was recognized worldwide and was given a gold medal for that work. Siyempre, that's one of my favorites. But there is a gallery that I like very much because it demonstrates something I was not too familiar with, which is the artistic capabilities of our national hero, Jose Rizal.
Oh.
He has some sculptural works
Yes,
there, not very large, but I think very fine pieces. And I think it would be very nice for school children, but for people in general, to see how talented our national hero was. Not only was he a patriot, he was a true artist as well. And so he has that there. And there's also the book of Imitation of Christ Bayon, that he scribbled something on there on the day he was about to be executed. And it said, for my sad wife, Leonor. Leonor Rivera ba?
Yes, Leonor Rivera.
Yes. That's one of my favorite galleries because of that. The other gallery I like a lot is the one that exhibits the ecclesiastical or religious art of the central bank collection. Well, among other things, there are 4 or 5 Nuestra Señora del Rosario, which of course has special meaning to our family. And they're very old pieces which are very nice. So that's another favorite of mine. But there are many, many collections there that you need to spend days looking.
Yes.
One day is not enough.
So
Especially now that there's 3 buildings to visit.
Yes.
You really should spend like a week or spread it out over time. Make it your destination when you have hours to spend. Yeah.
Is there any possibility na magta-tie up ang neighbor din na Metropolitan Museum sa National Museum?
I guess the possibility is there. They're focused on contemporary art, and they are very well supported because they're owned basically by the central bank. So there is no real need, and they seem to be happy operating as an independent entity. So there are no conversations of that type
Right
going
now.
on. No,
Kasi
right
nga, rine-restore ang Met at baka pwede
nga eh.
maging libre din.
Ewan ko kung gusto nila yun. Banka, central bank sila. Hindi sila sanay sa libre at
Okay. And how can the ordinary people, I mean, we're you know, they can hear us on DZRH all over the Philippines. How can the ordinary people contribute to arts awareness and arts appreciation?
If you don't mind, before that, let me just make one point.
Yeah.
There are also regional museums of the
Yes.
National Museum.
Na libre din.
Libre
Yes?
rin, and they're spread out all over the Philippines. So for those listening now on radio, the first place you should visit is the regional museum in your locality,
Okay.
if there is one. There are some that are particularly outstanding. The one that I recall in particular is the one along the walls of the Fort del Pilar in Zamboanga, which is a beautiful museum because it's unique because it's built on the walls of a fortress. And I understand even the Queen of Spain visited that museum. Maganda ho yun. I mean, so if you're there in Zamboanga, but
Yeah.
there are so many. There's 15 of them
Yes.
that are open and operating. So yun ho ang una. Well, the second one is go out of your way. I think instead of spending every free weekend afternoon in a mall, anyway, at least in Manila, our museums are air-conditioned also. And I think it's a far more worthwhile way of spending your time. And we have good guides who can guide you around and tell you the story behind the paintings or the historical items
Pero
that
parang
are on
ang
display,
mindset
etc.,
kasi ng
etc.
tao is natatakot silang pumasok sa National Museum halimbawa dahil alam nila dahil ang sa tingin nila ay hindi nila maiintindihan ang
Ay,
mga
nako
bagay
po,
na
hindi ho ganun,
naka-exhibit.
ha?
Aha.
I-try ninyo ho. Siguro that's the
Yes,
best.
subukan na lang.
Subukan
So,
natin.
imbitahin po natin
Subukan,
ang publiko
imbitahin. Oo.
na bumisita sa museum.
Ayan.
Lalo na ngayon, Museum and Galleries Month. Meron ba kayong mga special activities?
Well, nung araw, the special feature of Museum and Galleries Month was libre. Pero ngayon, ginawa na naming libre all the time.
Okay.
But ang aming hong special feature this year is really the opening of the Museum of Natural History, which was opened at the eve of the of Museum Month, September 30. And while it's only partially open, bisitahin ho ninyo. Pero hindi lang yung Museum of Natural History. Meron hong Fine Arts Museum at saka yung Museum of Anthropology. Napakaganda ho ng mga exhibits at saka magugulat ho kayo. Doon sa Anthropology Museum, meron mga exhibitions, for example, of textiles from the Muslim areas and all kinds of artifacts, mga baskets, and then burial practices of ancient Filipinos.
Wow.
Halo-halo po. At saka nandun pa rin yung galyo na talagang napaka-interesting yung mga nandun. Tapos naman dun sa Fine Arts Museum, from the Amorsolos to the Juan Lunas to the modern sila Ben Cab and all of these art pieces. And as I said earlier, even some of the artworks of our national hero, Jose Rizal is there. Wag ho kayong matakot, wag ho kayong mahiya. Talagang welcome po kayo and you will feel welcome. Makikita po ninyo, napakarami na po ang pumupunta. Kung minsan ho, nakakatuwa. May linya ng mga taong naghihintay para makapasok sa National Museum. Eh, nung araw, hindi namin maisip na mangyayari yun. So now when I visit there, particularly po pag linggo or Sabado, kung minsan ho, may mga linya talaga mga tao, hindi mapapasok lahat sila sabay-sabay. Meron pa rin hong nag-check kung saan sila galing, pangalan, etc. Just for our record purposes, para alam ho namin kung sino yung mga pupunta sa museum. Pero totally libre po, so welcome po kayong lahat. Air-conditioned po rin. And it's comfortable.
At museum hours, opening, closing, and days
I think
of operation?
10 to 5 po. 10 to 5. Close pag Mondays.
Close pag
Mondays ang
Mondays.
close namin.
Okay.
At before long, we want to open a museum shop and museum cafes para maggumanda lalo yung experience ng mga tao doon. So, abangan na lang ho, magkakaroon po ng ganon.
Sige. And you know, and of course, thank you so much, Mr. Del Rosario, for again making the time for us this afternoon. And congratulations on all the wonderful projects and
Thank you very much.
developments.
And
sa
thank you
National
so
Museum
much
of
for
the
allowing us
Philippines.
this opportunity to invite the public and tell the public about our great National Museum.
More power to you po.
Maraming salamat po.
Hanggang sa susunod na linggo, samahan ninyo kami ulit dito sa Art2art, kung saan ang usapang sining at kultura ay para sa lahat. Ito po ang inyong balerina ng bayan, Lisa Macuja, nagpupugay sa artistang Pilipino.